Hi tribe, Lamisha here. I am so excited to talk to you all today. And today I'm sharing with you 5 tips for massive mindset shifts. And when I say massive, I mean huge mindset shifts. These are 5 steps that I have been working with clients on and have really noticed to be the 5 key pieces to creating mindset shifts. So I wanted to share these with you because this is something that you can start using today, and I want to make sure that you are not missing a step here, okay? So as with anything that I share with you, it is worthless if you don't implement it and take action. So today I want you to truly take the step to move forward and start thinking about utilizing these steps, okay? So, number 1, whether you want to make changes in your health, in your finances, in your relationships, in your career, or in any other area of your life, you have to first be aware of what's going on there. So, when you start making mindset shifts, you have to truly understand what's already playing up in your mind. A good way to do this is to think about when you feel triggered, to think about when you get really stressed about money, to think about when you get really, really frustrated or feel insecure in your relationships. When are you triggered? If you're trying to lose weight, are you feeling triggered when you step onto the scale? Are you feeling triggered when you are watching maybe some advertisements on television, right? And you see the bikini model. Or maybe you get frustrated or you start feeling a little anxious when you go to the grocery store or when you go to make a purchase or you look at your bank account. Like, what is playing up for you? First step is identify what the trigger is. Step 1.5, which is part of step 1, is to identify what's happening in your mind. What are the beliefs that you have about that situation? What is coming up? What are the thoughts that come up? Are you thinking, oh my gosh, I have so much debt, I'm terrible with money? Are you thinking, oh my God, I'm so fat, I'm never going to lose weight? Are you thinking that's never going to be me? I can't ever do that. I'm a failure. I'm never going to get to my goal. Like, what is playing up? Okay. So the first step is all about awareness. Awareness is key. You cannot change anything unless you're first aware of it, right? You have to be aware of what is going on in order to be able to shift and change that. So that's step number 1. Step number 2 is for you to search for the stories behind that belief. Okay, so every day, every single day, you and I have thousands and thousands of thoughts. Thousands and thousands of thoughts are going on in our mind on a daily basis. When we're driving down the street, when we're in the shower, when we're working, dealing with our kids, all kinds of thoughts. So many times, those thoughts are playing out memories, or they're connecting us to very specific stories about situations that we've had, right? So if you've ever tried to go to sleep at night and you're really, really stressed, you might notice that you have a hard time falling asleep because your mind is just like, it just won't stop. A lot of times that is because your mind is connecting the dots between what you've been experiencing. And so as it's connecting the dots, it's coming up with these ideas about, well, what, I couldn't pay that bill. Oh my gosh, I can't pay that bill. What's going to happen? The lights are going to get turned off. If the lights get turned off, then I'm going to be a terrible parent, or I'm going to get evicted, or like, it creates this big, massive story about this one single event, right? And usually they're negative stories. They're stories that say you're worthless, or they're stories that tell you you're not good enough, or they're stories that tell you that this means you're a terrible mother, you're a terrible parent, you're a terrible spouse, that you're a terrible business owner, that you're a failure. Like, we create a story and a meaning about the trigger that has happened. So you may not even realize that you're doing this, but 9 times out of 10, when we are triggered, if we allow ourselves to go down the rabbit hole, we end up telling ourselves this massive story about what this situation means about us, okay? So when you search for the story, you're really looking for, what is it that I am creating and recreating? What is the truth that I am accepting about the situation, right? Search for the story so you understand like what you are creating. Like, you're kind of creating a monster with step 2, okay? Search for the stories. Again, a little bit more about awareness. We're not shifting anything just yet, but this is a key piece of it. Step 3, connect the dots. Now, a lot of people actually skip this step because they want to get immediately out of the discomfort and they want to jump into, help me fix it, Lamisha, make it better. I don't want to feel this way. It sucks. I hate it. Help me, right? But this step is so important. And the reason it's important is because we have to understand that our beliefs were not created in one day. The fact that you believe you're a failure was not created by that one event where you felt like a failure. The thing that happened, the reason you feel like a failure is because you've repeated it over and over and over again. And if you connect the dots, you may find that this certain situation that is coming up, this feeling of feeling like a failure or feeling like you're not good enough, is connected way back to childhood. It's connected way back to a situation or something you learned from your parents. So when we connect the dots, we receive this incredible amount of information about who we are and how we became this person to believe that we weren't good enough, that we weren't small enough, that we weren't smart enough, that we weren't fast enough, that we didn't do enough to succeed, right? And so we see this by connecting the dots. Now, I have had this experience multiple times. I have had experiences where I'm dealing with money and I'm thinking, where the hell did that come from? Where did this belief come from? Where did this belief that I'm not good enough come from? And I start connecting the dots and I connect them and I connect them and I connect them. And I get to a place where I see a memory of something happening with a family member or my sister or my mother, where I see where it came from. Right? And I see that this isn't something that I necessarily created. It was just a habit that I learned. Now, when you have that information, a bit of the weight falls off of your shoulders because you now know that you have a choice. You have a choice to shift this. Because what tends to happen is when you skip this step and you are creating this story, you simply allow the truth that you've created, that you're not good enough, to be law. Like you allow that to be the be all end all of who you are. You don't recall or you don't allow yourself to see where this truly originated from. And when you see that, you realize you can shift it. This is such a key piece of that, okay? So connecting the dots is step number 3. You have got to do that, okay? Step number 4 is what I call shift the shit, okay? Because let's be honest, this mindset stuff is not fun. Feels like shit, right? So we're going to shift it. My go-to method, you know this, I have shared this, I don't know how many times, but I'm going to talk about it again, is EFT, the Emotional Freedom Technique. It is a technique that I avoided, I ignored, I let go of, I walked away from, I thought it was silly, I thought it was crazy for years. When I was finally ready to accept it, I started using it and everything changed, okay? So EFT is simply a practice to allow you to clear the residual and energetic connections to these thoughts and beliefs, while at the same time shifting your thoughts around that. So it's a release mechanism, right? And so that's exactly what we want to do with this. We want to release the old stories. We want to release the old truths. We want you to release these truths that aren't true, but these beliefs that you've accepted about yourself for too long, so that we can then move on to the next step and start creating new stories, right? So this concept is something that is so important. And a lot of times people jump right to this step. They just want to clear out all the junk. But if you don't know what it is, if you're not sure what stories, what it means about you, and you're not looking at where they came from, it can be really hard to completely shift this, okay? So EFT is my go-to for this. There's a lot of different ways to start shifting this mindset stuff that you have going on, right? One way is to look at proof. Find the proof in your life to the contrary of those truths. So if you feel like you're not good enough, if you feel like you're not smart enough or you're not working hard enough or whatever it is, then I want you to find 5 facts, 5 pieces of evidence that say you are good enough, that you are smart enough, that you can do this, okay? Not always the easiest thing to do, but once you start proving it to yourself, then you'll start realizing that, hey, maybe I can do this, right? Maybe there is something to this work. Okay, so that's one way to do it. EFT is another way. There's a lot of other methods that I use in my one-on-one work that really works best one-on-one if you're working with a coach, but those are the 2 things that you can start doing now. And a quick Google search or a search on YouTube for whatever topic it is that you're dealing with can help with the EFT videos, okay? So there's my little tip for that. The last piece is to anchor it in. And what I mean by anchoring it in is simply to start flipping the script on these beliefs and to start shifting into the place that allows you to believe what you want to believe. Start processing and reprogramming your mind to accept and implant the new beliefs, the beliefs that are going to support you, the beliefs that are going to really make a difference in your life, the beliefs that are going to cause you to make more money so that you can feel like money is easy, so you feel like you're worthy, so you feel like, you're good enough to succeed, right? So this is where like affirmations come in. You can use EFT for this to tap in the positive stuff, right? Affirmations, journaling, doing mantras, right? Any of those things can help you anchor it in. But the key is to start anchoring in those new beliefs, because without that, we go right back to our habits, okay? So the 5 steps again, number 1 is being aware. Awareness is key. Look at your triggers. Number 2, search for your stories. Understand what you are making this particular situation mean about you. Number 3, connect the dots. Where have you seen this before? Where has your mom had this experience that you learned from her, or your dad? Connect the dots. Number 4 is to shift the shit, right? EFT, finding evidence to support the new belief versus the old one. And then number 5 is to just anchor it in. I want you to anchor in these positive things. But remember, you have to go through these 5 steps. These 5 steps are key in any transformation that you're wanting to make, okay? The other piece that I want to add to this is that mindset work is something that is ongoing all the time. I don't care how successful you are. I don't care where you've gotten to. If you want to continually improve your life and continually grow, then there's always more stuff to work through. So whether you're new to mindset work or mindset work is old hat, I want you to continually improve what's going on in your mind. We all have insecurities. We all have shit that we're dealing with, but I want you to pay special attention to what's going on in your mind and be aware of it on a daily basis. Mindset work is not something that you do one time and it's, happily ever after. You have to keep working at it. All right. So I want you to play with this information, see how it feels for you. And if you are interested in more mindset work and you want to really take a deep dive into what's going on for you, my Miracle Mindset Immersion course is available right now. And I have a special bonus available for you. You get an additional mindset assessment call, whether you buy the regular program or you buy the VIP. So if you buy now for the next week, that you get this special offer. So I want to make sure that you are aware of that. If you would love to know more information, I've included the information below. Feel free to ask me questions, but in the meantime, make sure that you make your mindset work a priority. This is such an important piece of the puzzle, okay? Any questions, let me know, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.